Hello, this is Dr. Garret, Castleberry Professor of Media Production and Communication at Mid-America Christian University, and I'm here with our Week 1 video discussion prompt for COM 4123 Media Production Techniques. Now, each week, our video discussion prompt is aimed to engage with the learning objectives that we have set aside for that particular week. And so never feel like these conversations or asynchronous engagements are simply biding time or creating more busy work for you all in the course. Our goal is to keep it in conversation with things that we're learning about, talking about, maybe reading about and doing. And so some weeks I may pull in reads as inspiration or partial inspiration toward the prompt that I present to us. Other weeks I may want to relate it to aspects of projects that we're working on in the course. And so I think one of the best ways we can facilitate these video discussions is to stay closely engaged with the course content. And that does a couple of things for us. It keeps our minds focused on the most important elements, right? So we're staying centered in terms of where the value is in the course, what's most important, but also I can all but assure that my goal will be that we have 2 prompts each week. So we have 1 video discussion, but it may have a 2 prompt process. So pay careful attention. That means listen to the video all the way through. And unfortunately, for those with the shorter attention spans, that's a reality. Believe me, I encounter that every day. But you want to listen carefully because know that there's going to be a part 2 to these prompts. And the part 2 is a personalized question for you all. Well, week 1, I want to establish a little bit of an icebreaker that's going to give me, from the instructor standpoint, better understanding and feedback about who you all are, where you're coming from, so that can help build my anticipation of what your digital media production labor may look like, where its maybe strengths lie, maybe some of the limitations that could arise. And so when we can facilitate healthy exchange of open information, that is a good sign that we're going to progress collectively toward that individualized learning you all are receiving through an asynchronous online accelerated course, okay? So let's start somewhere basic, but it has a very intentional purpose, moving us right into the course content and what we're going to tackle. Okay, in media production techniques, we're using the film medium, that is to say the mass medium of film, as the gateway into learning a lot of techniques. This is not to be old-fashioned. It's not to be biased toward film. It is instead to look at how film, as a sophisticated expression of human communication from one to many, influenced other mass mediums of the 20th and now 21st century, including film had a clear influence on television, although it has some distinct qualities. Film had direct influence on its evolution to digital film, and digital film converges, culturally speaking, with other mass mediums on the internet. And now we've entered this social media age, and we're watching lots of clips and reels and TikToks and all of these things that sort of break down a lot of larger media into shorts. Well, we're going to be working on some shorts. You all are going to be producing some media shorts in this course. And the one way we can find a unified learning point is by having a kind of getting on the same page conversationally. And so film in this course represents that way to all have the same conversation as we progress our learning objectives each and every week. I want to know a couple things about you all. And that is, what is your background familiarity with film or with watching movies? Is it just something casual? Is it frequent as a habit or practice? Is it infrequent? Did you do it more as a child versus maybe an adolescent or an adult? Or, what is your medium of preference? Are you more of a reader? How do you spend some of that leisure time? There is no such thing as a wrong answer in that way. We want to have a better understanding of who you are in terms of your media usage. That is helpful for us. And then the second part of that, this is not prompt 2, but the second part of that is what background familiarity do you have with any video editing, and what that looks like? So paint a picture for us in your own words. Have you ever used, for example, YouTube? YouTube has an editor suite for creators where you can do some mild editing. I don't love the array or layout of YouTube's, but there's some effectiveness to what they do provide content creators. On the other hand, we're recommending students get familiar with CapCut simply because it's a free software. It's kind of like Audacity. When we teach podcasting classes, we like to encourage students to practice using Audacity because, again, it's a free software. We're trying to work within traditional student budgets, which tend to be a little bit narrower. So what is your background familiarity level or preferences with film, just as in casual viewer mode, or what deeper insights do you maybe possess? And then what is your familiarity level with video editing? We want to know about those two things in your own words in story form. You don't have to type out some sophisticated notes that you then read, and let's be careful not to read too much. Want to work on healthy eye contact in these digital shorts, or video discussions that we're engaging in. But then, as we're breaking into things, look over week 1 of the course. You can look at the syllabus. You can look at the reads and early assignments. So look over those before you post your video response. And here's what we want from you. And this is part 2. In part 2, we would like you to post or end your initial response with any week 1 questions that you have. And it could relate to any part of the course design in week 1. So tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your familiarity with film. Tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your familiarity with video editing softwares. And then what question of the week do you have for us relating to any of the course content in week 1? Okay, thank you for being patient as I unpack that video discussion information for you. Don't forget, if you ever find your attention span is waning and you wish these videos would go a little faster, I'm providing our video discussions via YouTube. You can go right down to the bottom, or maybe if it's the app, it might be somewhere near the top, and you can click on the little gear button. You can speed it up. You can speed that video on up and hear us work through that content in a little bit faster manner. And if that fits your appetite, so be it. The most important thing is that you're ingesting this content and that we're engaging. We're making forward progress together in this course in COM 4123, Media Production Techniques. Thank you for listening.